So, truth, light of truth, is already in trance, and we'd like to welcome you to today's channeling session. Terry Gillen, who is known in the higher realms as the light of truth or truth, will be channeling various energies such as ascended masters, off-world beings, other people from the higher realms. She's channeled the angelic realms, very highest realms of those in the past, as well as those known as the council. I'm Sharon Dingus. I'm known in the higher realms as Honor, and I will be Truth's handler this evening. And you can learn more about Truth at mysticaltruth.com. And if you are enjoying this channeling, please like, and very importantly, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Once we reach 1,000 or more subscribers, this channeling can then go live on YouTube. And so again, Truth is in trance right now, and she has no prior knowledge of the questions that will be asked this evening. So welcome to our friends who are from the higher realms. Might I ask who we have with us right now?
There are an ever increasing number of beings attending this channeling, as there have been the last two. We have ascended masters, off-world beings or star beings, the angelic realm, some other masters that you would not necessarily know of in your world. There are many here, as this is meant to bring messages from many to all of humanity. I am not the one who will be answering. I am just the first voice, as you are for her. My name. They're saying in your world, you would pronounce it Akohl.
Akohl.
Akohl. I am a star being from another world. And I am here as a placeholder. When you ask your first question, the one who will answer it will come forward.
Wonderful. Well, welcome, and thank you for being the initial spokesbeing for this.
I believe this will be the new normal for you in these channelings, is to have one of us provide or fill this space or this role. And then as the questions are asked, the different beings will come in and let you know who they are and what they have to say.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you. The first question, we'll just jump right into the meat of things, is there was the recent announcement about the death of Pope Francis. What is beneficial for us to know about that at this time?
There are many who want to jump in, waiting to see who comes.
It is a hot topic.
There was much cheering on this side.
Wonderful.
I'll honor my dear friend, Mother Mary here.
Oh, welcome, Mother Mary.
I had to pull rank, as you say.
That is wonderful. Well done.
There is much celebration over this particular topic. The being in that role was not a good one, as many people are coming to understand. That being is Luciferian and was tasked with bringing depravity to the masses. This is why there was much change in the Catholic Church during his time there. Much twisted and perverse change. In addition to all of the things that had already been happening, such as child abuse, human trafficking, human farms that will come out soon. In other words, literal baby factories. There was little to be sorry about to see that one go. What's important for the beings on your planet to understand, as many as is possible, no matter their relation or no relation to the Catholic Church or the Vatican, humanity must step up and say, we choose light. We choose the higher consciousness. And so currently there is a window of opportunity for humanity energetically to cast their vote for what happens next with the Catholic Church and the Vatican. There is much change that has already gone on that people are not necessarily aware of. We believe that before long, there may be a dismantling of the Vatican. There already has begun, but we believe there's more coming. For me and those who the Catholic Church has been using for their marketing purposes, if you will, and manipulation, the archangels have nothing to do with the Catholic Church. I, Mother Mary, have nothing to do with the Catholic Church. The one you know as Jesus has nothing to do with the Catholic Church. They simply branded well over the centuries. We are very happy to see the next phase in what will occur, because we want to be given back to the people. There are many on your planet who believe that if they are not connected with the Catholic Church, they are not able to call on me or to call on the angelic realm, the archangel realm. And this has never been true. It would be my request of humanity to see in the mind's eye, in the heart center, the Vatican bathed in beautiful golden light from creation. Beautiful iridescent white light flowing in, flooding that space with the light of creation, with the light of God, the light of the universe, that highest and greatest frequency that frankly has nothing to do with the Catholic Church. In doing so, allowing all connected entities, literal and figurative, to be bathed in that same beautiful light of creation, flushing out all of the darkness, flushing out corruption and evil, filling the Vatican and all of the things that it touches, the people it touches, allowing that light to be accessed to all who choose, and seeing it almost like a tsunami coming in through the Vatican and out to every single organization, property, business entity, what have you, that is connected to the Catholic Church, seeing that tsunami move through all of it. Darkness cannot survive in the light. There is much darkness that this person headed up, and there was a reason for the announcement of his death when it was, because if you look at the astrology, there was much to be harnessed and used. The date of death, we believe, was falsified in order to harness the astrological aspects and the power of the moon and so on for Luciferian or satanic rituals. This is essentially, this is 100, a million times larger than your Super Bowl halftime show, which has become nothing but a satanic ritual. And they know that that is the most watched event globally every year. And so they harness that energy and they use it in the ritual that they refer to as the halftime show. Well, this is even bigger than that. How many people on your planet were aware of or tuning into that being's funeral? All of that energy is harnessed by Luciferian satanical creatures. And so what you actually have just had and are still probably in the process of having was a huge evil ritual. So flooding these environments with light, flushing out the darkness. Even if it's retroactive, if someone is seeing this and it's 6 months or a year after this happening, it doesn't matter. They can still see the light moving through the Vatican and all of the attached churches and organizations and people. You can see that light moving through it at the time of the funeral, because there is no real linear time. And so you can contribute to that healing no matter when you are seeing this video. Is this clear?
Yes, this is clear.
Are there any questions about any of that?
So you've touched on a number of areas, especially some of the aspects that are going on. So the Vatican and the reach of the Vatican, and I'll just say things related to it, whether it's even the formation of the United States, for that matter, or the corporations, other religions. What kind of ripple effect, good or bad, because if we flood with light, hopefully it'll all be of the light in the higher frequencies. But what might the ripple effect look like?
That's a beautiful question. So many people, most people probably are not aware that the Catholic Church is actually a combination of many religions of the world, so that they are a hub energetically and financially. So when you are flushing light into and through the Vatican, you are also cleansing and clearing the Jewish properties, pagan, Wiccan, all sorts of things that have been encompassed into what they call the Catholic religion. It's actually not at all of the light, and it has offshoots that it partnered with throughout history, some of which being what I just named, but it's a culmination of many religions on your planet. And so it is a bit like the head of the snake, except that this snake has many different bodies that flow to all of the big religions on the planet and some of the darker, smaller religions of the planet. So as you are cleansing that Vatican and seeing those tsunamis go out through everything attached to it, this allows you to do a thorough cleansing without having to do all of the homework to learn what all is attached to make sure that you don't miss anything. We do think it would be lovely for people to learn more about the reality of the Vatican and the Catholic religion and those in the higher up positions, because it's not at all what most people think. There's very much a fear base within the Catholic religion. We believe people are waking up to this now. The Catholic Church members, the millions and millions and millions, usually they know nothing of the evil that is contained in the Catholic Church and specifically in the Vatican. So the people who have grown up in this religion or become a part of this religion did so unknowingly. And so there is a level where things are less, we'll say less corrupt. However, this is less corrupt for the absolute highest level of satanical and Luciferian beliefs and agendas. It's not just the beliefs, it's the agendas, it's the manipulation. We understand that the people don't know this is going on. There will be disclosure, and there is disclosure coming out if people look for it. But we do believe that this cleansing of these different things that are connected with the Vatican will assist in the healing and assist people as they begin finding out what they have donated so much money to, because that's obviously one of the biggest agendas of that particular hub. And the manipulation, there will be much disillusionment, much grief and sorrow that could easily come upon your planet because of this. And by allowing that beautiful energy to flow through the Vatican and to everything that is connected with it, it is essentially pre-soaking the energy for the people who belong to that church and who follow the rules set by the Vatican, so that they may have a more gentle experience. I've forgotten what I was talking about now.
Actually, you were leading into a question that I had as far as how can we help people, because the millions upon millions of people who live their lives believing the Pope was the Pope and very of the light, and quite the opposite and upside down. And how do we prevent the greatest shock or avoid the greatest shock with everyone. So you were discussing how we can help ease this.
So if someone is strong enough within to begin looking into the realities of the Vatican, and from there, the Catholic Church, and they will allow themselves to truly see what is finally allowed to come out to the public, that would be a wonderful first step. There are some who won't be able to do that because it's too much for them. But the more people that can become aware and awaken to this reality and this huge deception that has been played upon the people of Earth for centuries, this helps insulate those who may be really caught off guard by this, who really may be just taken to the ground with it. And so the more people that can do that, to whatever extent they are able to, for instance, we know you and Truth and her children and some friends of yours that you both know. They're people who are on their own looking into these things and finding out more about it. And the cohort is the Jewish religion. I'm really trying to find a way to release this with doing the least amount of damage to people.
Yes, yes.
Middle Eastern religion as well. They're the main religions on your planet. There are three of them. For whatever reason, I'm not allowed to say the name of that third one.
Yes, I just
We all
jotted
know
it
what
down,
it
but
is.
once, yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I'm not, for whatever reason, allowed to say that one. It's a
Fascinating.
part of it, but there must be some reason for now I'm not able to say that. Excuse me. I have to bury her phone. It keeps making noise.
Okay.
Okay. As people look into this, look into the Vatican, how is it a part of these other two religions? How are they all connected? This would be a good thing for people to look into. What is it that has been done to the people of your planet through these religions? What are the falsehoods and the deceptions that have been played upon the people of your planet? These are not beings of light who have created and are running these religions. There are factions of those belief systems and philosophies that are not connected to the higher level, right? The people in the day-to-day that are not privy to the higher levels of those religions have, in most cases, no clue what is going on. So the more people that learn and wake up to the realities, to whatever extent they're able, the more it's going to help cushion or bubble wrap the people who perhaps are just not strong enough at the moment to see these things and be blindsided by them. Right now, you have an administration in your country that is very good about this. They are one administration of several on your planet that are seeking to bring out truthful information of the ages to the people of your world, not just your country. And so, as you witness this sort of waking up, coming out of the fog, and seeing things as they truly are, the more that you wake up, the more of you that wake up, the easier it will be on those who are still awakening. So that truly is one of the best things people can do. The other is to hold a place of compassion. There will be much outrage. There will be devastation emotionally, mentally. Temperance, compassion, holding that space of people will come through this and come out the other side to see that you never needed that middle management.
Mm-hmm.
This Pope, he was upper middle management. He's nothing. When have you ever seen me? But he uses our names,
Yeah.
to manipulate those that we truly love, to bastardize the light. All three of those religions are the same. They have conned people into believing that they do not have their own connection. Churches need only be social centers for those of like mind. That's all churches were ever meant to be. But they became a racket. And they've been building them for centuries. There is no truth, none, to what they teach. No one needs a middle person or a conduit or a go through to get to creation, to get to the true light of creation. What they have people worshiping are their gods. They're not the God, the creator. They have hijacked people's belief system and completely bastardized it. Understanding that there is no middleman needed. There never has been a middleman needed. The only thing a middleman does is reroute you to another God that is not the light. Because anyone who teaches you that you do not have your own connection to that source creation, the creator who created you, you are a spark of that flame. Anyone who teaches you that you must go through someone else is dark. Now, they may have been taught that, and so they may be operating in darkness and ignorance, but if you follow that up, follow the lineage up, you will find that they were taught by someone who does know. There are many high-level Catholic officials and high-level Jewish officials coming out, spilling the tea, as the young people on your planet say now. I may be centuries old, millennia old, but I can be hip.
You just taught me something I was not aware of that.
It used to be dish, now it's spilled the tea. Is this helping?
Very much so. Yes, it is.
There's so much on that topic, but I believe that hopefully this is a good start for people, helping others understand
Yeah.
that if it was a religion, a person, a teaching, whatever it is, that was saying you've got to go through so and so to get to God, it's not to be trusted. It never was to be trusted. That has always been a ploy used by darkness to reroute the energy that they steal from their parishioners. They steal their money, they steal their energy, and they use manipulation and fear mongering to do so. We believe that humanity has a chance now. This is the first time in your history that there has truly been a chance for people to wake up from this nightmare. Is there anything else I can answer about that particular topic for you?
The one follow-up question, because so many people with all three religions, each of the three has their own book, if you will, which I've always been challenged by. But many of them have read, we'll just use the Bible, right, over and over again, and all the different versions of it, and turning to it and as part of their daily routine. Is there anything redeeming in there for people to have for faith as they're moving forward? How does that all?
It's very much a combination.
Yes.
So, what I would say is if there are things in there that uplift or inspire, those are keepers. If there are things that create fear, that create anger, those are not keepers.
Wonderful.
Pretty much everything is just that simple. You can tell from in your being, in your human form, you have an alarm system in those 7 energy centers. That's part of what those are for, is when you get a warm, cozy feeling, or we've noticed that you recently have talked about your heart center lighting up and you've been experiencing some new things with your heart center.
Yes.
That has become a guiding force for you.
Yes.
So as people begin to understand those 7 energy centers, which we would encourage them to do, they can begin to understand that they're meant to be a guidance system to guide you to something or repel you away from something. It helps you tune into another person or situation, or helps you not tune in to another person or situation.
Very true.
And so beginning to really understand those energy centers, and not so much book learning, unless that's what someone's drawn to, but more so becoming familiar with where they are in the body and begin recognizing, what does it feel like when you're repelled from something? What does it feel like when you, or how is it experienced when you are drawn to something, or you're getting the green light instead of the red light? So finding how to work with their own energetic alarm system, if you will, that's very beneficial, because then people can tell for themselves, does this uplift me? Does this spark fear or concern or anger? And again, we say the list of the seven sins and the seven virtues.
Yes.
If it's on the virtue side, it's a keeper. If it pulls you into any of these seven concepts that are away from the light, then no, find something that brings you the light.
It is just that straightforward.
It's really so very simple. And religions have overcomplicated everything so that you feel that you need them, and you don't. If your religion brings you great comfort and you have found a way, there are plenty of Catholic people in this world who find great beauty and joy and love in that, along that path. But that's because they are connecting directly with me or with the archangels or with the light, and they are not going through, they've not bought into the fact that they need to go through somebody else to get to those energies. And so for whatever reason, the Catholic experience brings them joy because they are not connecting with the Vatican and the business of it. They are connecting to it outside of the church more so. And really, it's just been an anchor. The Catholic Church has just been an anchor for them to have something to do with people of like mind and so on, as we said before, that a church is meant to be sort of a reminder, a recharger for your batteries, a social situation with people who use the same language or words that you do for things. And it's just meant to be a gathering place. And so for those who have found that in those religions, they will not be so bothered by the toppling of these things. The Vatican must go first, and the others go with it. It is the head of the head of the snake or the head of the beast. I don't even know if I answered your question.
You absolutely did. Thank you, Mother Mary. There, as you said, there's quite a lot in there.
We use her brain to translate for us, but
Yes.
it doesn't hang on to the question, so we flow through, and then partway flowing through, we forget what the question was because the brain doesn't really hang on to it because it wasn't meant for her.
No, that's part of why I'm busy scribbling down notes just so I can stay a little bit more in the moment and be able to refer back to things. But no, this was very helpful.
Wonder.
You you did bring up the Jewish faith, right?
Yes,
Or the Jewish religion, which I'll extend out
we would
to,
we would say, to just to clarify for people,
please.
and religion are two totally different things. Faith can be of the philosophy, but the religion is the church.
Beautiful.
So the religion is all the rules and regulations and the business of that. Faith is, this is what I veer towards. It's not so much about the logistics and details. It's the feeling. The religion is the intellectual side. Faith is the feeling side.
Thank you for that. So I'm almost feeling that that question is not meant to be asked at this time because I'm not finding the words to ask it. So I am going to just simply move on from there. What about Israel? What might be beneficial for us to know at this time?
Well, I'm going to let somebody else come in and answer that because they are very adamant. So I will bid you adieu.
Oh, thank you, Mother Mary. What a treat.
It was so nice to meet with you again.
You as well.
Honor my friend,
Uh-oh.
one known as Jesus.
Hello, my friend.
So, Israel,
Yes.
that's a multifaceted topic.
Yes.
Where would you like me to begin?
Could you explain what Israel is?
Hmm.
I don't know if I could give an explanation of it, so let's go to the source.
Israel, the Israel that you all the geographical location that you all have called Israel is not the true Israel. This is another bastardization by the other religion, the
Hmm.
Jewish religion. They have been fabricating the facts and the proof of those facts in that religion for centuries upon centuries. Israel, at this point on your planet, if you think of an animal, perhaps that is quite dangerous on your planet, that perhaps uses playing injured to lure prey in and then tears that prey to shreds. That is Israel now.
Wow.
That is not what Israel originally was. It was not a geographical location, and it's almost moot now because this other has been conjured like you would conjure a dark being. Israel is very good at playing the victim so that it can milk people. It is vicious, it is corrupt, and it is not to be trusted. And I understand that there are many who may find this distasteful or even blasphemy. But it is the truth. There is every bit as much darkness in Israel as there is in the Vatican. It's just an adjunct. Is that what a word you use
That
now?
works. Yes, that works. Yes.
It's just got a different angle. Catholic Church, very pious, very we are right, you are wrong. Israel, oh, we're the victims. Oh, everybody is horrible to us. We are the chosen ones, and yet we are always the victims. If you really look at the history of that geographical location that has named itself Israel, by the way, that alone is bastardizing the light. Look into what Israel truly was before they took that name and put it on a piece of land. I've lost myself.
You're doing wonderfully.
This is very much just another Vatican with a different tactic used upon its people. It harnesses the energy of all those who look at all the terrible things that are happening in Israel. Oh, those poor people. And the people are not a part of it. This is not talking about the day-to-day average citizens of Israel. Some may know, some may not. But this is that Jewish religion, the true Jewish religion that has used its people like the Catholic religion has used their people. Israel and the higher ups in that religion are also Luciferian. It's like going to Disneyland rather than Disney World. It's the same thing. It's just got a little different spin. And so I would encourage people to start really doing non-biased research on what has happened throughout history with that area. What have they really been doing? Are they really the victims? Or are they the victimizers? I know the answer. You can tell the answer by my attitude, I'm sure. But people, it's so important. They've almost lost the ability to critically think and research and see the facts that are in front of them. And I understand, we understand that now on your planet, those who don't want you to find out what they've been doing throw out all kinds of disinformation that has to be sorted through. But if you simply look at the facts and no opinion, people should be able to figure it out. They are not the victims. They are not what they say they are. There is all sorts of evil that has infiltrated the entire planet on every level. In your country, the Zionist and beyond facets of that religion have infiltrated your food, your entertainment, your educational system, your medical system, your pharmaceutical system, every important, well, your government, obviously, every important aspect in your country, that meaning the facets that influence the people. If you trace them back, follow the money, as they say, they will all take you to the Jewish religion and Islam. Israel, sorry, Israel. It's the other one we're not talking about.
Yes. So playing the victims, might we go back to World War II or just shift to World War II? Because again, there's the debate on both sides, right? What was Hitler actually doing? What was, if they're playing the lame bird?
He was not what people have been told he was.
Yes.
I won't say that he was a great, wonderful leader and person necessarily, but he was not at all what they made him out to be. He also did not die in Germany,
Yes.
lived a long life in South America. He was the scapegoat and the fall guy. His plan did not go the way he was hoping it would. And it was essentially rewritten. Most of what you all have been taught about that era is not at all how things went. Much of your history on your planet has been hidden and then new history fabricated, even as recently as that.
The rewriting of history. And the more I've been digging into alternative sources of information, if you will, and
Yes.
using the inner guidance system of does that make sense or not? So as Mother Mary was saying, the energy centers, does that feel like it's in alignment or not? We can get our own answers.
You have your
Or
own lie detector system housed in.
absolutely, yes. But
Yes.
going to concepts such as mud floods or just the different narratives, or even stumbled on the Cabbage Patch Kids and sitting with, does that make sense? Does that not make sense? What have they rewritten? The concept of Tartaria or free energy, there's so much in there.
Yes.
Yes. What might be helpful
World
to know?
is so much more beautiful and
Yeah.
magnificent than they allow you to know,
Yeah.
because they want you to, if you consider what you are taught in history in your schools in America, at least, it's the wars, it's the battles, nothing to speak of that is beautiful and wonderful. You have had many civilizations upon your planet. It goes back far before they lead you to believe. You've had Atlantis, Lemuria, Tartaria. There are so many. And things like free energy just were. There's no reason for you all to be so constrained and constricted. Every single thing that allowed you to be open and alive and free has systematically been removed from your history books. We are increasingly optimistic about this particular time on your planet. We feel those other civilizations rooting for you in this time, this timeline. They're all still there. They're all still alive and happening on other timelines. There is a huge gathering of support for your planet at this time. Countries all over your planet are beginning to release information about these different time frames, despite what those who are in control of your teaching on that planet want. So you will find that the schools, the universities, those places are digging in deeper and deeper with their indoctrination because they are paid tremendous sums of money to teach you what they are told to teach you. Truth has nothing to do with it. Not this truth, the truth. She has nothing to do with it either, but it's not about actually teaching. It's about programming their desired information into this beautiful, amazing brain that you all have within those bodies that allows you to take inspiration from creation and the higher realms and run it through that brain of yours and turn it into reality in the 3D. They have done everything in their power to keep that from happening. It's why they put fluoride in your water. It's why they put nanobots in your food.
Yeah.
It's why there's so much coming at you from every direction, and all of it can be traced back to one of those three religions or all three. And then some, because there are other religions too that are much smaller and much less powerful, but they all contribute. So understanding that it will take work on your part. There are people working very hard, losing their lives even to bring the truth out, because this is the one time in history that there is a tiny little crack in the door to be able to start bringing in the light and bringing in the truth and bringing in understanding, so that you all can take from that knowledge and that understanding and decide what gets thrown out and what gets built upon. It is our hope here that what you currently know as religions dissolve. We would like to see them gone. We know that's a big ask. And there are probably those who may hear this and think, well, this can't possibly be of the light, unless they do their research. And then they will see that the religions are not of the light, because they are telling you you are separate from God, and that is not true. There is no separation. You do not need a church or a priest or a minister or a nun or a rabbi or anybody else to be an intermediary. Churches should be gathering places. Perhaps there is someone who's giving a message or a lesson to bring you back to center and remind you of why you want to choose the light, to help inspire you so that as you go out for the rest of that week, you're coming from a place of light and of inspiration. But not because you need to pray with them to access your creator. We would like to see a new dawn of gathering places, which you currently call churches.
That would be lovely.
It's a lovely idea.
Yeah.
It's just when the bullies get hold of it and completely rewrite everything so that you are no longer allowed to know all the beautiful, wonderful things people have done in the past. And you're not allowed to see the darkness that is being done behind closed doors within those churches and religions.
You shared something that was really important. I want to make sure that it didn't get lost. Is what I believe I heard you say is this is the one time in history where there is an
Yes.
opening.
The other times they have tried and failed.
Yeah.
Lemuria tried and failed. Atlantis tried and failed. Tartaria tried and failed. There are others that tried and failed. This time, you all, there's a chance this time, a better chance. There was a chance in those other times too, but people refused to get out of their egos. Pride. We're seeing it again upon your planet. The pride is just exponentially growing. People who aren't typically prideful are rigid within that concept in their lives now. That is the biggest danger that we see currently, is the need to be right. Ha, puppy. Oh, puppy.
Oh,
It's the smaller of the two.
oh, little Lola. She has such soft fur.
He is so beautifully soft. She come.
Oh,
She may come. Come.
oh my goodness.
See her. I heard a snort in front of me.
No doubt her little tail, her little curled tail is wiggling very quickly.
Very happy girl. Yes. So if people can begin to really recognize where that concept of pride may be infiltrating their life, their brain, their mind, and simply shift it to a softer, more fluid energy, understanding that we are always learning and growing, no matter whether you're on this side or that side, higher realms, whatever, doesn't matter. As these beautiful energetic beings that we are always growing, learning, changing, seeing a bigger picture. That's the biggest thing that has taken down the other civilizations. You have so many very ascended beings that have now incarnated upon your planet. The star seeds have come in great numbers to assist in bringing this planet forward to its evolution into that 5D state of consciousness. It's really not that hard. It really isn't. We would ask that you communicate to Truth to
Yes.
please create a document to put into this video for people to download for free. That is a lovely printable version of the sins and the virtues. Because
Yes.
keeping those, having one on your phone perhaps, or throughout your house, just constant reminders of, I'm feeling a little bit of this today. Instead, I'm going to swap it out for that.
Yes.
It's just that simple. All you're doing is you've got point zero and you have what are considered the sins, which means to miss the mark. It means you're missing the light and the virtues. You are veering towards the light. You are veering away from the light. It's that simple. It's not you're feeling wrath currently. So some being is going to strike you down with lightning or make horrible things happen in your life. No, if you're sitting in that concept of wrath, you will attract things to be angry about. You will attract situations that keep you there because by choosing that, it's all about free will. If your free will is choosing wrath, then you're going to get more of that and more things to feed that. Simply make a different choice. Gratitude, love, joy.
Yeah.
What are you happy about instead of what you're angry about? Close the door on the anger. There was a situation that happened with Truth just a few days ago, we believe. We're trying to get the exact situation. There was something that it was that darn boy, Billy Goat.
Big boy.
He has been quite the trigger for her lately because he is getting very randy, very rambunctious. And his horns are, they're getting longer and bigger. And so he often uses them on her.
Oh no.
And he comes right behind her. And because he's so small, because of his breed, he hits right behind her knees. And so he runs and he butts right behind her knees and it collapses her. While it's funny to watch,
It's not funny to have happen to her.
not very happy about
No,
it.
no.
And so she was very, 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 very angry with him one day, just this last few days. And she turned around and she grabbed him by the collar. And she knew she was verging to this side. And so she stopped and she held him so that he couldn't get to her again. And she looked at his beautiful eyes and she looked at his very handsome face. And she remembered him cuddling with her when he was a baby. And the wrath melted away. And she was able to go into love and joy and gratitude for this beautiful being. And everything shifted. This was within a matter of seconds, 10 seconds, if that. It's a conscious choice. It's just a conscious choice. You can choose to shift your mind state. And that's why those lists are supposed to be together. But if you notice, all you ever see are the sins because what you look towards, you move towards. So they want to make sure most people don't even know there is a list of virtues to go with that. Why are the virtues not the ones that you see? You want to be more like this because they know this is a part of that manipulation that people have been under. You don't see the list of the virtues. Her brain can't list the virtues. It can list the sins. That's why even she has the cheat sheet that she
She
has. It's
does.
just not printer friendly. We'd like a more printer friendly one.
I know she was working on that. I think the
She forgot.
got it. I will make sure that I remind
She
her
needs a little boot.
I can do
We
that.
we would like to see it added to this video so she will remember to do it. With the editing, she'll create that list and put them all up at the same time.
Beautiful. All right.
So that's one of the things that I can say to people is, why is it that the sins are all people ever hear about? It's a known fact in psychology and in brain functionality upon your planet with these human bodies that what you look towards, you get more of. So, of course, the virtues are nowhere to be found, not easily, not day to day. What's talked about are the sins, and they made it such a sins. Oops, I tripped into lust. Oops, I'm being greedy. Oops, there goes my pride again. Over here I go. It's that simple. Not, oh God, I've been prideful. Please forgive me, dear Lord.
Well, then I go to the confessional, or I give a little more, or I tithe a little bit
Exactly.
more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I hope people heard what you were just saying. It's not good for those churches and their money and their
Yes.
power for you
Yes.
to get the virtues. And they can't feed their master, their Lord and Master, Lucifer, with the virtues. He wants the sins. That's why you see the sins,
Mm-hmm.
because to him, those are the virtues.
Yeah.
People don't understand that in all of those three religions, they have actually been feeding Lucifer. The Catholic Church, very Luciferian in their ceremonies, their rituals, very Luciferian. All three of them.
Having been raised Episcopalian, which is a branch of the Catholic Church, it was a little disturbing when I realized everything because some of those actual ceremonial gestures were always very comforting. And then I
Right?
needed to step back and yes,
Population,
yes,
century upon century upon century of it.
yeah. Fortunately, once you see it, you can't unsee it. So that is very helpful as well, both on the dark and on the light side. You can see the dark, and you can also see this is the light I want to go to.
One place for people to start is with the connection between the Jewish religion and the Vatican, the Catholic religion. You can see a crossover of the culture. The Pope, when he wears a yarmulke,
Yes.
there are so many crossovers. And they actually all can be traced back to the Luciferian worship. Any place that says you must worship your God, their God, they're not to be trusted. You're not meant to worship the Creator, worship God. You are meant to commune with that. It is a part of you. You are a part of it. You come from it. Whatever you want to call it, him, her, they, I don't know. It's a big energy. You all are offshoots of that energy, as are we. All of these different beings from all of these different realms, dimensions, and places, all from the same creation. Different, very different expressions of that creator. So when there is something that teaches you, you must worship something outside of yourself. This is a falsehood. This is manipulation, and this is darkness at work. You commune by going within, into your heart center, up through that crown chakra, up through that silver cord, all the way up to that creator, that energy of creation. There is nothing to worship. If you are worshiping those, what we might refer to as demigods. They are not gods of any kind. Each of those religions actually is funneling the worshiping to Lucifer. Not even Satan, Lucifer. Lucifer has become much more dangerous. So even that they've bastardized.
Would it be helpful to spend a moment as far as the difference between Lucifer and Satan? I know we've talked about it a little bit in other channelings, but it might not.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. So originally, there was the light of creation, and there was the darkness. The Lord of the darkness is Satan. Your planet is meant to have the duality of dark and light. In the 3D, as a 3D planet, it has always had a balance of dark and light, because darkness provides the opportunity to choose the light. You are a planet of relativity. Not all planets are that way. So it's very hard to know when you are so enjoying something and so appreciative of something if there isn't another end to that scale. It's got to be relative. So without that relativity, it's very hard to grow and progress as a soul, because you don't have the choices along the way. In the higher realms, you don't have the darkness. And so you're never faced with the decision of, yes, I love this person that I'm in a relationship with, but wow, this person just makes me feel whatever, lustful or whatever it might be. And you're in that dilemma of, what choices do I make? This is how you gain wisdom. If you want to achieve something in your life, that planet is one that you have to go through obstacles to get to those things sometimes, until you learn how to work more with the energy. And without the darkness, sometimes that's not so easy to do, because the darkness provides traction, if you will. Is this making sense?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you. So Satan on your planet throughout the eons of time has had a role on your planet. There are rules that must be followed by Satan, just like there are rules that the light follows. And when each part is following the rules, there's a harmony, there's a balance. Now, yes, there are evil things that come with the darkness, but that's also a way that people are able to get rid of some of their karma from other life experiences. Your planet is one that is conducive to dealing with karma for things that perhaps have been experienced that were bad choices, you know, leaning towards the darkness rather than the light, that kind of thing. And so this is a planet where beings from many different places come to get rid of some of that karma. And so we do ask that you remember that some of these things that happen that are so dark upon your planet are beings who are answering for things that they have committed in other lifetimes. But Satan is one who played by the rules. So when Truth was an exorcist for over 25 years, Satan actually protected her on numerous occasions so that she could help bring the balance back into check in a situation. For instance, there was someone who was a severe possession case who had truly demonic things moving through and attached to them, that kind of thing. When Truth was preparing to address those demons, Satan created a small security band, if you will, of its trusted beings to sort of escort her into the energy so that these demonic beings who were out of control and wreaking havoc with the balance that there was meant to be, they didn't know she was coming. It was like a Trojan horse. Once she was in close enough and could begin working with the energies, that security band left. And it was up to her then to do her job. So it's not as if the darkness helped her deal with those beings necessarily, but she did have a little bit of assistance getting close enough to deal with them. So when this, by the way, is what made her different. There are many people who say they are exorcists, but they're very much must destroy the darkness, vanquish the darkness. Well, you can't do that on your planet. So Satan played by the rules, and that's not to say he's a nice guy or a nice energy or a nice being. It's saying there are rules he was confined to so that things did not get out of balance on your planet, while still allowing people to have that darkness for the resistance and the relativity that they need to grow and get rid of their karma and things like that. Lucifer, around, really began getting out of control around the 60s and 70s, 1960s and 1970s. And it was almost not to be seen in the mainstream. But as you entered the 1980s on your planet, much more darkness started coming about. The Temple of Satan began to really grow in a grassroots manner. As you moved into the 90s and the 2000s, you can watch through the decades. It became more and more violent TV shows and movies, violent music, the sexualization became much more dramatic of and younger people. Things upon your planet became much more carnal. Even in the supposedly safe movies and TV shows, the very low carnal humor, very much you watched as you moved out of the 70s and into the 80s and beyond, you started seeing a lot of humor surrounding other people's misfortune. You didn't see that so much before, if at all. All of the degrading of your society. That's because as those decades became more and more, let me begin again. As time progressed, Lucifer became more and more of a strong foothold in your world. He actually took over the realm that Satan was responsible for. And so I believe that we talked about this in one of the other channelings, but Truth was actually summoned to assist because Satan had requested assistance from the light because Lucifer had come so out of control. And frankly, Satan didn't want to take the hit for it.
Yes.
It had gotten so out of control that even Satan had no handle on this energetic being called Lucifer. So Truth and a couple of other, she doesn't know who, they were just other lights that were there with her, actually extracted Satan, and he went someplace with the light into safekeeping. And Lucifer was then being dealt with. Now, she has no knowledge, nor do I, of what was happening there or what has been happening since then. But I can tell you that there has been a great deal more progress made against the darkness than they are letting the people of Earth know about. Because to understand what has been accomplished, they would have to understand everything that was so horrific. And it's just too much at this point to dump on people all at once. It's quite probable that a lot of the truths may never come out to the masses unless they really look for it, just because they will incur such trauma from what must be released. So understand that this occurrence with Satan being extracted for a bit, this happened on your planet's timeline several years ago.
Yes, it was. Yes.
And so we are seeing now, as we're asking to be shown, Satan has been reinstalled and Lucifer is still being dealt with. However, there has been a great deal of progress made that is not being let out to the masses. Is this making sense?
This is making sense. Yes.
Does that answer the question, or does that address the topic as you would have liked?
Yes, I believe so, because there is the difference between Satan and Lucifer, and Satan has his place on this planet.
Yes.
And everything that
Lucifer
we've,
does not.
yes.
Lucifer never belonged here in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's done in such a way that people don't even see it's happening.
No.
So what has occurred is that the choices for the innocent, the uplifting, the truly inspirational have been less and less and less over time. So that because you are on a planet of relativity, if your choices for wholesome things are still full of those concepts from the sin menu,
Mhm.
but they're not quite so graphic and horrific as something else that there is to choose from. People think they're choosing the wholesome, when in fact it's filled with those concepts. It's just not to the extreme. But trying to find something, especially in your country right now,
Oh,
trying to find something to entertain yourself with, whether it's music or movies or TV or books, it's getting increasingly more difficult to find something that really lives over here with the virtue menu,
yeah, there's very little.
unless you go back to pre 1980. You can see it with your music, with your movies, with your television shows, with your books. All of the main entertainment manners, you can see there was a distinct shift. And I will just say that MTV did come in 1980, I believe, or thereabouts.
Mhm.
And that was truly Lucifer planting a flag and things. It was a rapid decline after MTV came on.
Yes, it was.
Anything else that I should be saying on that? I'm sorry.
This is wonderful.
Okay.
Um, yes, and thank you for bringing up MTV because I remember how things rapidly shifted, and it seemed as if MTV with CNN and USA Today, the CNN and the USA Today, the CNN bringing the world into your living room,
Yes.
and USA Today turning your attention span into that of a gnat, and then MTV and Madonna and
MTV's first song was Video Killed the Radio Star.
yes,
What they were saying is, and that was a message to all artists and would be artists, if you are not willing to make music that will go along with our agenda, you will not make it. Since then, there have been very few artists who were able to stay successful and stay in the public's eye unless they went along with the very dark agenda. Even seemingly lovely songs, if you dare to watch the video, it's quite disconcerting.
yes, it is. I've had one or two favorite ones, and then when I saw the music video, that was it. Last time I could ever listen to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Follow the money. Where does it go? Right back to the religions again.
Exactly.
Funny, isn't it? That
Hmm.
would trace back to religions.
Hmm. Yeah.
They have created a feeding frenzy for Lucifer and all of his minions.
Ooh, may we dig into the word minions because going back, I believe is it Despicable Me?
Again, the relativity, yes?
Yes.
Well, this is seemingly innocent for my kids to go see. We have Twinkies called Minions. Do they not look like Twinkies?
Dude, that's just fabulous. Thank you. But true. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that is the poster child for Frankenfood, is it not?
Yes, it is. It's very fitting.
And people Even those who are supposed to be enlightened have their children playing with minions.
Yeah.
But there's not that much else to choose from. So seemingly that's innocent.
Mhm.
We heard you speak with someone the other day, for probably truth, since we're with her a lot. And you brought up the scream machine, the scream meter,
Oh my gosh, in Monsters Inc., once I realized what that was, yes, go on, please.
adrenochrome.
Yes.
Yeah,
And The Dark Crystal, the movie The Dark Crystal, was that not the same thing?
it's all over the place.
It is.
And people are taking their children to see these movies and buying them the toys. And which, oh, by the way, all feeds Lucifer.
Yeah.
Disney
Hmm.
feeding the monster. It's Luciferian. People don't understand how many children go missing from those parks a year. They have horrific things happening underground. People just have no idea that the things that they believe are lovely for their children are actually darkness, because they have very little to compare it to. If you think about if everything began changing with the onset of the 1980s, how many people who have children now even remember what it was like to not have primarily darkness and having to root around to find some light in there? They've known no other way, just like the younger generations, meaning well, even people in their 50s and 60s don't remember, but the natural clouds, what you have now, are
Yes.
very rarely natural clouds. But most people don't remember what the skies looked like before all of the poison aerosols were taking up your skies.
I to that point, I believe that Truth had a client when she was in Sedona within the past week or two who had no idea that I believe contrails were actually a thing, or that they were something other than what they were seeing in the sky. I forget the context, but it was astonishing, and but at the same time not surprising. When have they ever seen something that is natural?
Correct.
Yeah.
So when it comes to these parents feeding the Luciferian machine, they know no other way, because if the grandparents may remember how
Mhm.
things used to be, but they haven't connected all the dots, and they don't want to look like that person who says, well, back in my day, they people are so afraid of being judged. And so even those who are wise enough to remember how it used to be, they typically do not speak up. They don't take a stand. Your world was never like this. Well,
No.
it has been in other civilizations, but not your civilization.
Yeah.
We believe that there is this awakening, and the people have, again, for a third time, chosen an administration who is fighting for the light. Like them or don't like them, they are fighting for the light, not just in your country, around the globe. and they have other world leaders that are working with them. It's just very covertly. It has to be for right now. But the people are stepping up and saying, enough. I choose this. More and more people schooling their children at home.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. More and more people leaving corporate and huge organizations to start their own smaller business and provide real value.
Mm-hmm.
It's turning, it's happening, and we are all here to back that energy. It's got to be up to the people of your planet. Your planet is all about free will. So we can back the energy, but you all have to make the choices to live on this side of that list, not this side over here. Really, if people just did that, you're voting for the light if you choose this side on the virtue side, and you're voting for the dark if you choose these over here. It's that simple. If you can't find a movie that isn't truly inspiring, kind, loving, don't go see a movie. Find one on your streaming services that is from pre-1980. And what's really fun is if people watch things from the 1930s, 40s, 50s, you'll find that they've been lying to you about the history. It's in the movies, but nobody ever goes back that far to watch those movies.
It is in those movies. And I will say, Truth has helped introduce me to some of these older movies, and it is.
She was just watching her Hazel kick. She's on quite the Hazel
Yes.
kick these days. And so there was an episode of Hazel from the 1950s, I believe, or 60s. And the character Hazel was speaking on the phone to, I believe it was the mayor. Yes, the mayor. And she was congratulating him on simplifying the garbage pickup, because it was such a challenge to figure out, well, the aluminum cans go here and the paper goes there. And she was talking about the same thing you all are seeking with the recycling. It's the same things over and over. The back in the 30s and 40s, there were plenty of women who held high position jobs. But it's made out to be now in your generation
Uh-huh.
that's a new thing. People would gain quite a lot if they would allow themselves to seek out things that are light, joyful, sweet, inspiring. You would learn a great deal if you would allow yourself to go back through your history for choices as well. Because again, you're casting your vote with your actions. Whatever you connect your energy with, you are saying you would like more of that. That's why she's on this Hazel kick, because that TV show portrays people wanting to do for their fellow man, genuinely caring, helping just because they have the ability to help. That's actually what life is like for many, if not most, people on your planet, but that is not what's portrayed. They create a false reality in your media. And then people think that that's what life is really like. It's not. Your turn.
I'm just sitting with what would be a good next question. And I think since we've talked about 3D and 5D, 4D, going back to a client that Truth had recently, wanted to know why do we only hear about 3D and 5D? Do you need something? I believe she has water
Oh, I
nearby.
needed to move her legs.
Okay. Okay.
Now that Mother Mary has been and gone, she can sit however she's comfortable. Yes, I think it's somebody else wants to answer that one.
Okay. All right.
So this has been lovely,
Oh,
and I'm
it has.
very proud of you all for continuing these. Each time that you do, there's a larger, and I can't even see the end. It's huge here now. Every week there are more beings who are supporting this. So thank you and bless you for
Thank
all you all are doing.
thank you so much.
I will say good night for now,
Good
and
night, my friend.
somebody else will come in. Hello.
Hello.
I have not done this before.
You are fun.
I am the one known as Archangel Sarah.
Oh my. Hello.
I am the one who works with grace and ease within life. And I have been chosen to be the spokesperson for this particular question.
Oh, how lovely is this?
This is as special as I sense it is for you. It's that special for me.
Oh,
I
oh.
her body is covered in chills because my energy is so big. Here chills on the top of her feet even.
I don't know if there is still a dog to your right side.
I hear much snoring. I think probably not.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. This is just so beautiful to have you here. Thank you.
It is for me
Oh,
as well. So help me understand the question that you have regarding
yeah, yes. So, not so long ago in Earth time, we were aware of 3D, which we're in, and there'd be discussions about 4D. And recently, what we hear if you go to the YouTube streaming service or have other conversations, it's going shifting from 3D to 5D.
you mean
And
the consciousness
the
upon the
con
planet.
thank you so much. Yes, the consciousness on the planet.
Okay, I understand now.
And Truth recently had a client who said, whatever happened to 4D? Why do we only hear about shifting from 3D to 5D consciousness?
Perfect. That's a valid question. So you have been primarily in a 3D state of consciousness, meaning that the focus has primarily been on the physicality of your world. It's only in very recent times that more than just little pockets here or there of ancient civilizations began talking about the energetic being that is in this nifty pack. So this package is really just meant to be something that anchors the energy that fills it onto the planet and allows other 3D beings to not bump into you. So in the past, ascending was learning about 4D, which meant astral travel, learning about your energetic self, working with energy. There's been a great deal of advancement upon your planet since about the 60s or 70s, 1960s or 70s. And it has been growing tremendously. And recently there's been, meaning over the perhaps 20 years, if that, there's been more and more talk about 5D because the ability to comprehend that is growing, because people went from strictly 3D, which is what you can see and feel and hear, maybe a little bit if you can connect what the sound is coming from. Even still, a lot of people have a hard time understanding that sound waves are a thing. They hear the sound, but they don't necessarily think about the waves as being tangible.
Yes.
So in your Earth experience, you live in the third dimension state of consciousness, mindful of the physical and time, linear time, things like that. And then when you pass, you typically go to the 4D. And so you have an experience there as well. But that is still on the Earth plane. I don't know if people understand that or not. But 4D is really still a part of your Earth experience. So 5D, now that people are beginning to understand that 5D state of consciousness, which, by the way, lives on this side of that list they were talking about, if you want to understand how to move towards that 5D state of consciousness, you live in that side of the list, and this other side really doesn't have anything to do with you. That's 5D. There's more to it, but the very simplest explanation is living in that side of the virtues, leaning to the light, and frankly, just not having a lot to do with the dark side of things, is moving towards that 5D state of consciousness. Because as you move through 3D and the 4D state of consciousness, the 4D state of consciousness is perhaps being angry at something that's happening halfway around the world and understanding that you can make a difference in that place on Earth just from being angry here and sending that energy there. It works with the light too, right? So when Truth does classes, things like that, and you prepare the energy ahead of time or at night when she cleanses her home, that's 4D as well, because she's working with the energy upon the Earth plane. But 5D does not really deal with the dark side of things. There is not that dark side of things in 5D. It cannot exist because this is a pure light environment. So the lower level, darker souls are not able to exist in this atmosphere. And when I say atmosphere, it's a state of consciousness, it's a state of being. For those of you still in 3D bodies, you will not lose your 3D bodies and you will not lose your 3D planet. It's just that the consciousness of the masses is moving towards the 5D that is not limited by the constructs of 3 and 4D. Is this clear so far?
This is helping, yes.
Okay. So go ahead.
We wanted to make sure we don't have an inadvertent disconnect with truth like we did last time we channeled. In 7 Earth minutes, there is an alarm that's going to go off on her phone. You are welcome.
We will figure that out. I appreciate
Yes.
the warning. So as more and more and more and more and more people upon your planet are choosing to turn their attention away from the darkness and to these higher frequency states of consciousness. That's all those words are on the sins and the virtue list, are states of consciousness. Each word or state of consciousness holds a frequency. One is a higher state of frequency and one is a lower frequency. So the more people turn to high frequency thoughts, actions, deeds, inspirations, goals, as more people wake up to the corruption and the evil doings upon your planet, and they say, it's happening a lot. People are saying, no more Disney. Sorry, kids, no more Disney. Because they know if they support Disney, they're supporting horrors that are happening to children and go from there. There are many others as well, but beginning to understand where evil lives and no longer delivering money or attention to it. This moves you into that more 5D state of consciousness because it's all free will. And so as you, of your own free will, choose this, not that, you're climbing the steps to that 5D state of consciousness, because this is going further and further and further away from you as you do so. Is this helpful?
Yes, it is. Very much.
I love the smiles. This is fun. I've worked with her when she does energy healing on people.
Yes.
And I've sent energy through her, but I never got to experience. This is fun.
It is really fun to watch you experience this.
And so this doesn't need to be a huge undertaking for people. There are lots of things out there, lots of resources out there, but if there's any fear in them, if there's any really overcomplicating it, somebody saying they have to be the one who helps you get to 5D, don't go there. Just pick the light. Each time you choose the light, each time you choose to be coming from integrity, coming from compassion, true kindness, authenticity, these are all things that allow you to leave the darkness further and further and further behind you so that you are living in the light. It's fairly simple. It's all just a matter of making those choices more and more frequently. And so as more of humanity chooses to do this, you are cultivating a reality. You are all co-creating this reality together of this 3D planet that exists with the state of consciousness from 5D, but with the benefits of the duality of the 3D. So no longer does the duality have to be horrible, dark, and light, right? It can be discomfort and light. It can be irritating and light. You no longer have to go to these horrific realities on your planet. Does this help?
That is a wonderful explanation because if I'm understanding correctly, we can come here, our soul can evolve because we do have that contrast, but it
Yes,
doesn't need to be as extreme as it has been.
correct. So
Okay.
even if you think about part of the duality is hot and cold, it doesn't have to be evil and kind.
Yes.
You can accidentally burn your hand on the water when you're starting your shower
Yes.
and say, oh, I need to correct that a little bit. And you can get a lot of lessons out of that one thing that pertain to lots of other areas in life. You don't
Yes.
have uh, to pick from this brain. Uh, you don't have to create the situation where you are kidnapped and almost murdered
That might
because
come from her brain.
you are so focused on if somebody messes with me, I'll do such and such instead of focusing on what a lovely night for a walk.
Hypothetically.
Instead, it could have been, wow, I have blisters on my feet from that truly long walk, instead of the horrors that she went through in
Yeah.
that experience.
Yes.
So your world can become one where the duality is not evil, right? It can be, well, I won't do that again. And that can create the resistance for your lessons. You no longer, as you move into that 5D state of consciousness, you're no longer in that dense 3D sort of reality, even though you are on a 3D planet. I believe this is what you were referring to.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
She tried to make it gentle.
there we go. I just hit something on the side and it stopped.
Perfect. Perfect. It may start up again depending on how
I'll
she
just
did it,
do
but
it
you know
again.
how to mute it. Wonderful. Thank you, Archangel Sarah.
How else may I serve you with this?
Let me just look at one more thing here.
There is one more thing that I'm being told I should share.
Yes.
As you, as individual energetic beings, move further into that 5D state of consciousness, many of you will bypass leaving the 3D and going straight into the 4D. Many of which creates a cycle where you just continue evolving onto this earth plane. We hear many people on your planet talk about this is my last lifetime, and they think that's some sort of badge of honor, or even that it's true. The whole, oh, this is my last lifetime here on earth has become something that is just said by so many people on your planet. And that is a state of consciousness that will not allow you to evolve.
Uh-huh.
So when you say that, if you're someone who says that, you clearly are not ready to leave that 3D, 4D cycle. because you've not gotten the understanding and the clarity that you have free will. And you've not learned how to take ownership of that free will. And so you must ascend to at least 5D state of consciousness to break the 3D, 4D cycle. And so we encourage people who may say that phrase to maybe stop. Because it's only by evolving that you can get there. And once you have evolved to the 5D state of consciousness, you understand, you'll come back if you want to. If you don't want to, you won't. Truth doesn't need to be there. She is from the higher realms.
Yes.
And she is the last person that you will ever hear say that statement, because she knows if she is called again, she will go. She knows she has nothing to worry about. There's so much beauty. The people who say that are locked into the unpleasantries of your planet. Well, how can you be evolved to the higher states of being if you hate where you are so much that you say you're never going there again? That means you're missing out on all the beauty and the wonder and the magnificence of where you are. There is no other place like where you are right now. And yes, it has some things that it would be nice to see go back to a more balanced state. But frankly, they've gotten so out of control because you all have complacently gone along with it.
Yes.
And there are still many light workers who very much support the whole Disney empire.
Yes.
How high can that consciousness really be? They don't understand. So for those who find themselves saying or thinking, this is my last trip to Earth, that is a red flag for them, that they are not in an elevated state of consciousness. Because if you were, you would understand that you'll be wherever you need to be, wherever you choose to be. Truth often jokes about having drawn the last straw, or the short straw.
The short straw, yes.
And it's jesting, because she knows that no, she came here of her own free will. And she came here for a purpose. And she wouldn't have come here of her own free will and with a purpose had she not known there were things she would enjoy about it. Yes, it is a business trip for her, essentially, in this lifetime. She is here for a calling, for a purpose, to assist with this time in humanity's experience. But she's there of her own free will. If you're there not of your own free will, it means you're stuck in the 3D, 4D loop. You recycle and recycle and recycle. You have to break that vacuum lock. Is that the right term?
That works. Yes.
So having a state of consciousness that is such that one would say that you can know that you're missing out on the best things. because if you were experiencing the splendor and wonder of where you are, which there is still plenty left, it's just your media sources focus in on the unpleasant and they make things very frightening.
Yes.
What I'm seeing in this mind's eye is camping. Going out
Yes.
and camping has now become a truly fearful thing because the news stories that you see are about people being mauled or being attacked by other people or what have you while camping. So now many people are afraid to go out into the wilderness where there is such beauty and splendor because, oh, this may happen or, oh, that may happen. Yes, there is that happening on your planet. Yes, but how many people around your globe go camping in the wilderness and have beautiful times compared to the minuscule little amount that don't? They are systematically revoking all access to the understanding of the wonder of where you live. And it gets in your brain
Mm-hmm.
and wheedles in like a bug, like a computer bug. And it's important to begin catching when that is happening in your mind, when those little bugs flare up. Replace that with, yeah, and how many people, for instance, if someone sees a news story and it strikes fear in them, but how many people went camping on that same day that didn't have that happen? It's like in your world, they talk very often about 50% of the marriages fail. I don't know if that's true or not, but they always say it. Well, that means 50% succeed, but nobody ever says that. It's the exact same. Why? Well, 50% of them succeed, so we have a good chance. No, 50% fail, so you're doomed.
Yes.
And it's commonplace. That's what everyone says. Whoever says 50% of the marriages succeed? If they do, they say only 50% succeed. They don't say only 50% fail. You have increasingly become a doom and gloom place. And so that holds you down from the 5D state of consciousness. It's a peppy little tune that plays.
You're having the full body experience today. I
It's pretty nifty.
love that.
Is there anything else on that topic that you would like to address?
I think that is a wonderful description of everything. I can't personally think of anything, and I've just been sitting here to think if there was anything else. And I also want to be careful about how long we have truth up and out because I believe we're
Yes.
at a little
This
past the
is,
2 hour mark.
yes,
So yeah,
I
yeah.
should probably be the last one for this evening. There are many
Oh,
who want to come in, but there'll be other weeks.
oh my goodness. Thank you
I'm very
so
lucky that
much.
I got to come in. There were a lot of us wanting to come in. I'm not sure I just ended up here. So,
I am so thrilled that you did. Such a pleasure, Archangel Sarah.
oh, for me as well.
Mm.
This has been lovely. And if you are complete, then I think I will exit and bring her back.
We are for this evening. Thank you again.
It was so wonderful.
Oh, for us as well.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Hi there.
Hi.
It's dark out.
It's 8:45.
Holy moly. Okay.
I mean, we did start about 15
Yeah.
minutes after or so.
Yeah.
Um, and oh my goodness. Oh,
That was so cool. My
oh,
body still has chills.
oh.
That was crazy.
She is just, oh my God. What a delight. There are no words.
It's funny because with IET healing,
Yes,
she and Michael were always my favorite. Not that, no disrespect to anybody else, but Archangel Sarah was one of my favorites to work with.
I know. That was what made it even more special. Like, woo!
It was so cool.
Oh my goodness. And she is just so sweet.
Yeah, I was really far back there.
Oh,
They let me have a little bit of a sense. I don't remember anything, but just a little bit of a sense. And honestly, my body still has chills all over it, like
oh,
all over it, head
well,
to toe.
yeah, she was saying even the tops of my feet
I don't
had
think I've
chills.
ever felt chills this
Wow.
completely on my body. That was that was really cool.
And she's never done that before, she said.
Oh, you've never
Ever.
been in a body.
No, she was having fun touching
Oh, that's
hands
so cool.
and your cheeks and
Oh
she,
my
oh
gosh, I
God,
have to
and
watch that part.
and smile. Oh, you have to. Oh my God. When she came in, I'm like, I'm just sitting here wondering who on earth is this going to be? Because it was so much fun to watch her come in. And we had Mother Mary and then Jesus and then Archangel Sarah.
Fun. Okay,
Oh my
cool.
goodness. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yes.
I think I'm going
Oh,
to leave this part in for the editing too,
I love it.
because this is kind of cool. I was thinking we need to do like a outtakes reel.
Yes, that would be fun. It would really be fun. Yeah, no, it was great. And Lola came up to visit Jesus.
Oh, yay.
Yes, yes.
That's fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.